BYFUNBY sent me this corner shelf lamp, so in this video, I want to do a quick unboxing and assembly and give my first impressions of this. Alright, so the first thing I see on top is going to be this user manual, and then we're also going to have another box inside here, and inside this box we're going to have all the metal legs, and then we're also going to have all 5 shelves, and here's what they go ahead and look like. We got the plastic black up on top, and at the bottom here's where the LED lights are going to be, and right here is where we're going to put the metal legs. And then we also have 3 plastic caps, this corner piece, the power cable, and finally the hardware. And here's a quick oversight of everything that comes in the box. And one thing to note is that these shelves are all going to go ahead and be different. This one has here what appears to be our wireless charging capabilities. This one's going to go ahead and have some capacitive touch buttons at the bottom. This one's going to have a USB outlet. This one's not going to have anything. And then finally, this one is going to have these 2 parts, or actually 3 parts, filled up. So I got to take note of that when looking at the instructions on how to build this. So here's all 12 tubes laid out, and at first glance they're going to look identical, but I realized that these are going to be 3 different types of tubes. Starting with tube A, there's going to be 3 of them. These are going to go ahead and have internal threads, and on the back side it's going to have a mount. For tube B, there's going to be 6 of these, and they're going to have internal threads and external threads. And finally for tube C, there's going to be 3 of them. They're going to have external threads, and they're going to have an unthreaded side. So the first thing to do is to grab the shelf labeled 5, which can be found on the back side, and then go ahead and be laid flat. And now these threads can be unscrewed a little bit, just like so, to loosen them up. And right in here is where tube C is going to go ahead and be inserted, and it's going to be the unthreaded side down, just like that. And now when it's going to go ahead and be level, I can just go ahead and tighten it, just like so, and then do the same thing for all the other 2 sides. There, that one's done. And finally, the last side. Alright, so now it's time for shelf 4, and just like before, we can go ahead and loosen all 3 threads, just like so, and then this can be inserted here. There, just like that, and now we can go ahead and grab tube B with the internal threaded side and thread it to over here, and do the same thing for all the other 2 sides. Alright, there. And as you noticed, this shelf did go ahead and come loose, and that's because these are going to be adjustable. So I wanted to adjust right at the seam, so I'm just going to go ahead and lift it up. There, right around here, so now I can go ahead and tighten it. Alright, and now it's time for shelf 3, and basically the same steps are going to be repeated as before. Now it's time for shelf 2, so I can just go ahead and loosen this up, just like before. Place it in here, and then thread it with the remaining tubes. Test. And now it's time for shelf 1 to go on top. Now it's time to screw in the feet, and there's going to be 2 options. Option A is just using this piece, and there's going to be a foam at the bottom. And option B is going to be using this to go ahead and get basically a more wider stance and probably a little bit more secure. And this is what I'm going to go ahead and use. So I can just go ahead and screw this in. Alright, so here's what the corner shelf looks like. And unfortunately, some things were in the way, mainly the outlet that I used to connect it, so it's not flush. So what I want to go ahead and do is just raise one of these shelves upwards so it's going to be above the outlet. And so I'm going to raise this shelf a little higher so I can go ahead and loosen all these parts up. There, just like that. And so here's what it looks like. It's almost there, but as you can see, it's not exactly flush to the wall yet, and that's because the floor is going to be a little bit uneven. So to fix that, I'm just going to go ahead and raise this leg by loosening it. Alright, there, so I loosened the legs up and I added some shims, and now here's what the top part looks like. And now it's going to be flush against both sides of the wall. Now the last thing to do would be just to add the anti-tilt portion, which would basically just be this plastic bit that attaches right in here, and then can be screwed onto both sides of the wall. Alright, so now time comes for the best part, which is testing it out. So I went ahead and downloaded the app Smart Life right over here. I'll go ahead and allow notifications. I'll agree. I'll go ahead and create an account. Alright, so now I can go ahead and add device, so I can press the plus button, add device. I'll go ahead and continue, and then it says discovering devices. I'll click add, and then I gotta put my password for my Wi-Fi, and now it's currently being added. Alright, then I can go ahead and press done. And there, so now I have 30 different styles to go ahead and choose from. And if I want to power it on, I can just press the power button, and it goes ahead and turns on, and this is going to be style 17. So yeah, this looks really cool, and it definitely makes the room, the corner of the room light up. Here's style 1, so it's just going to be on. Style 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And there's still a lot of stuff we can do with the app. So down in the middle, I can go ahead and turn off the lights. I can turn them back on. On the left side, I have two options: a scene, which is going to be the one we're currently at, and then home. And this one's going to be just with the yellow and white light. So right here, I can go ahead and control each of the shelves, each of the lights individually. So light 5 correlates with the top shelf, and light 1 correlates with the bottom shelf. And if I want to go ahead and turn off light 5, I can just go ahead and switch it off just like so, and then go ahead and switch it back on. And I can also go ahead and change the brightness just by moving the slider, and here it's going to be at 5% and then at 1%. Now, one thing to keep in mind is no matter how much I slide it, the light's not going to go ahead and change until I let go of my finger, and then it'll go ahead and adjust just like so. And on the right side, there's going to be this dial I can move here, as you see. So this is going to change the color of the light. So moving it all the way to the top, that's going to be white light. I can move it down, and it's going to go and get progressively more yellow, as you could see here. And if I want, I can also go ahead and adjust this shelf to color light just by flipping the switch, and now it's automatically color. So now I have red with a yellow light on the other shelves, and I can go ahead and adjust it just like so. And I can get a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different hues. And if I want to adjust all the colors at the same time, I can just press combination in the upper left corner. There, now I'm controlling all the colors. So now when I go ahead and adjust brightness, all the brightness are going to be adjusted for all the shelves. And I can, of course, change the colors of them. So here we're going to be at purple, at blue, or I can go back to white light. And here it's pure white light, and then pure yellow light. And if I go ahead and click on the individual lights, then I can go ahead and control one at a time, just like before. And now it's time to check out music on the right side. And on this slider, I can adjust the sensitivity to see how sensitive it is to sounds. So I changed the sensitivity to 0, so no matter if I talk, this is gonna take a lot for it to go ahead and light up like you saw beforehand. But as I go ahead and increase it, it's gonna be real easy just to go ahead and activate it. And so this is what rhythm looks like. This is what meteor looks like. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. This is what tile scaling looks like. This one looks a lot better. This is one-ray rhythm. This is symmetrical groove. Symmetrical groove. Left and right rhythm. And next tab up is going to be timing. And this basically lets us put a timer for when we want it to turn on or turn off. So I can go ahead and press the plus button. I can go ahead and add a schedule. I'm going to add it for every single day. And I'm going to add it for 10:48, which is in 1 minute right there. And I'll save. And then here I can go ahead and see what I want. So I want it to turn on or off. So in this case, I'll have it turn off. I'll press OK. Oh, it's already 48. All right, let me go to 49 now. And I want it to go ahead and turn off. So press save. And now it's saved. So every day at 10:49, it's going to go ahead and turn off. Beforehand, I do have to turn it on. So let me go ahead and switch the mode to home. And I'll go ahead and make sure all the lights are on. All right, there's just like that. And I'll go ahead and wait a minute, and then it'll go ahead and automatically turn off. All right, so now time to mess with some of the settings. So in the upper right-hand corner in this pencil thing, I go ahead and click it, and it gives me different options. So for starters, I want to go ahead and change the name. So Adam-Z1, I can go ahead and click onto it, press here, and I can rename it, then confirm. Now go ahead and go back. And now I can add a third-party control over here, whether it be Alexa or Google Assistant. A little bit more device information. I can create automations for it to run automatically. I can go ahead and create a group so different devices can be controlled together. I can check the device network, and I can go ahead and share the device with somebody else. So I change the name of the corner shelf to my name, Chris, so it's easier. And now when I click on here, turn off Chris. And there, it goes ahead and turns off the light. So I put a few things on the corner shelf here, and now it's time for a few tests. The first one being to make sure it goes ahead and charges my phone wirelessly, which is going to be right over here on the second shelf. So I can just place it right that, and yup, it goes ahead and starts charging it, which is nice. And what I do want to go ahead and test out is to see how heavy you can go ahead and put things, to see basically how strong the shelves really are. And so I have a 5-pound weight over here, and of course it'll be fine on the top because, I mean, it's just literally placed on top. But over here is where we'll go ahead and see a difference. So if I place it over here, yep, it goes ahead and holds it. Third shelf, same thing. Now time for the fourth shelf. Yep, everything's all good. And the last shelf at the bottom, Yep, it goes ahead and passes the 5-pound weight test. And now I want to run through the buttons real quick. So there's going to be 2 buttons. One's going to be for the regular light, the other one's going to be for RGB. So if I go ahead and hold this button for 3 seconds on the left and then go ahead and let go, it goes ahead and lights up. And this is going to be the bright light, the white light. And if I go ahead and double tap, this is going to be the neutral light. I double tap again, and this is going to be the warm light. And to turn it off, I of course have to go ahead and hold the button again, 3 seconds, and then boom, it's off. But what if I go ahead and double click it first? Well, if I go ahead and do that, it's going to go ahead and turn on night light mode, and it's just going to be on top right there. And look, even Tiger's curious about this. And I can go ahead and change the color temperature as well too. So if I double tap, you can go ahead and see. It goes ahead and changes to white light. Now it's neutral light, and now it's yellow light. And of course, to go ahead and turn this off, once again, I can go ahead and hold it for 3 seconds, and it goes ahead and turns right off. And now basically the same thing can be done for the RGB. When I go ahead and hold it for 3 seconds, everything's gonna go ahead and light up, just like so. And this is gonna be one of the patterns, one of 30 as we went over beforehand on the phone. And if I wanna go ahead and change it one by one, I of course have to go ahead and double tap, and it'll just cycle through all the different modes. Now, of course, I'm not gonna go ahead and go through all of them because that would be way too many. But here's just gonna be a few of them. And of course, to turn it off, all I have to do is hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then off. But I also do have one more mode here, and that's gonna be nightlight mode at the bottom. So if I go ahead and double tap, we get the bottom light over here. And now if I wanna change the color temperature of the bottom, I have to double tap the left side. And there we go to white light, neutral, and then yellow light. And of course, I can go ahead and hold it for 3 seconds, and then go ahead and turn right off. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this corner shelf. I've never had something like this. I had a shelf over here before, but nothing in the corner. So I do like the fact that this does go ahead and fits right over here. Pretty handy. And of course, the coolest part is gonna be the lights. It's gonna look real nice at night. And I'm also glad that it does have wireless charging capability, so I can just go ahead and put my phone here and go ahead and charge it. But yeah, that's a quick look at the corner shelf light.